I feel by getting up at 5 a.m., you build up a bit of momentum on making sure that you have a very productive day. And I find it much easier to complete all of my other habits. Then, and just to lead on to the next point then, because I found it so easy to continue with all my other habits, I've actually picked up 2 other habits which have very seamlessly been integrated into my daily workflow, which, as I mentioned, is yoga. I'll do a 20-minute morning yoga flow to wake up and energize the body. I'm just doing them free YouTube videos, which I've really found quite good. And then also like the meditation. These are 2 habits that I didn't have before. I would previously do some type of try to be a little bit mindful, but also I think meditation has a bit of a, maybe not so much these days, but it's got a bit of, I don't know, woo-woo, not quite religious thing around it. But people, for whatever reason, are a little bit pushed away by meditation. So I would call it more like a mindfulness practice. All I'm doing is reserving 10 minutes in my day where I will sit down and actively observe my thoughts and my breathing. It's nothing more than that, but it is really like bringing you into the moment. So I strongly recommend having that. If you do follow this 5 a.m. protocol, just set aside 10 minutes per day for this. And I've been doing this in the morning. I find I'm like fantastic. And then in the evening, I try to do it as well before bed, but I'm not quite so consistent. Another thing, just lesson to learn from this, is the reason that I think this protocol works quite well is because of your the time chunking process that is a part of this. So 5 to 5:20, I'm doing yoga. 5:20 to 5:40, meditation and daily planning. 5:40 to 6 a.m. should be on like reading and research. And so this is like a time chunking technique. And this generally just gives a lot of structure and makes it very easy to complete these tasks. Rather than having an unstructured day, it really makes it quite easy. So I'm currently exploring like 2 other protocols, which is implementing time chunking throughout my day on all of my other habits. Again, it's not perfected. I'm testing and working on this, but for sure I will share it if I manage to do this successfully. And then the other kind of mind hack, but not really, is I have my daily tasks and daily habits. And one of the biggest issues I often have is getting started with my habits or like my daily tasks. Once I've started doing it, it's almost effortless, but it's getting started with it that is where like the friction is. So I've been making like a negotiation with myself to spend 2 minutes, that I have to spend 2 minutes on each of my habits and each of my tasks for the day. Even if I don't complete them, I'm negotiating this with myself in my mind. I just have to get started. And if I can't dedicate 2 minutes per day to these tasks and on each of these tasks and things that are most important to me each day, what am I doing with my life? And I also know it's like the 2 sides of your brain battling against each other, because I know once I get started on it, I generally get very engrossed in the task at hand. So I won't just spend 2 minutes on it. But if I do, it's absolutely fine. As long as I get started, that is all that matters. So if you have trouble getting started with your tasks, make a little negotiation with yourself that you are going to dedicate 2 minutes to this. And then you see what happens. If you've had enough after 2 minutes, fine, come back to it another time. What generally happens, in fact, for me, what always happens is I will get into the task. And once I've started and built up the initial momentum of starting on the task, it's really very easy to do. And I will keep going maybe for however long is necessary for me to complete that task.